Thanks for clicking on Inside the Zone here on Wayne.com. Justin Kinney of Optimum Performance Sports, ready to take us into Week 11. And, man, it is the full slate for the postseason. No 6A, no 5A last week. Had some good games in 4A all the way down to 1A, including that Southwood-Churubusco game that kind of lived up to the hype. Highlight Zone Game of the Week. We're going to talk about 1A football, but let's start from the top with 6A. We got 6A Sectional 3, Carroll at Snyder, Homestead at Noblesville. And that Carroll-Snyder game, boy, the first time around in Week 2, it was a great one.
You know, so many people are talking about that Snyder-Homestead rematch, but Snyder better watch it because Carroll, that 1-point loss to Snyder, came down to that blocked PAT late. I think Carroll has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think they want to prove that they can knock off Snyder. What better way to do it than in the postseason?
What has you thinking that Carroll can knock off Snyder? Because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
These teams have evolved quite a bit since the last time they met. Reese Thomas blocked that extra point late in the fourth quarter to seal a 21-20 win. But these are two very different teams than the teams that we saw meet in Week 2.
Well, I think Carroll has going for him is confidence. They've played with Snyder. I think a lot of times we see teams that are already beaten before you even kick off because it's Snyder, right? And they're all warming up and the intimidation factor. Carroll say we're not intimidated. They feel they probably should have won that game. You know, they had another drive that was stalled when Jeffrey Becker fumbled it inside the 30. So they really feel, hey, we can go out and hang. And I think Snyder, too, has something to prove. We know that no team is better than making adjustments the second time around when they face a team than Snyder. I think will be a similar discussion topic next week if we do see Snyder and Homestead. So I wouldn't discount Snyder mixing things up either. But if you're Carroll, you're saying, hey, we beat them last year in the regular season. We felt like we should have beat them this year in the regular season. So they have some history of going toe-to-toe with the Panthers.
Now, Homestead-Noblesville, you talked about Snyder not overlooking this Carroll team. I think the same can be said for Homestead because Noblesville on paper, they've got one win, but yet they play a very strong schedule. They got beat up on by some, Indianapolis teams, some very quality teams down there. It's a long road trip, and you've already had a week off, so you're a little bit off schedule. How do you see this one playing out? Because on paper, Homestead's going to be an overwhelming favorite in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't see them getting upset by any means, but I could see a slow start, maybe a slow first half coming on Friday because, as you mentioned, it's a long trip down there. You face a Noblesville team that has, yes, one win, but plays in the Hoosier Crossroads, which is probably the third best football conference in the state between the SAC and the Metropolitan. So they're playing teams like Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern, so they got a tough schedule.
A lot of 6A schools in that conference.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Noblesville, it's a little bit of a trap game. I don't think Spartans are in any danger of losing down there, but they could be facing, a 1 or 2 possession game going into halftime, which would be, I think, surprising to a lot of people up here.